What was your never interrupt an enemy while they're making a mistake moment? When I took over as manager of our apartment complex, I inherited a nightmare tenant named Diane. She'd been there for 15 years and treated the place like her personal kingdom. Maintenance requests from her unit came in almost weekly, always marked urgent regardless of the actual issue. A loose cabinet handle was treated with the same urgency as a gas leak. The previous manager warned me about her, saying she'd filed 3 complaints against him with corporate in his first month. Diane made it clear from our first meeting that she didn't approve of me. I was too young, too inexperienced, and according to her, probably only got the job because of affirmative action. Within my first week, she cornered me in the office to explain how things really worked around here. She had the ear of regional management, she claimed, and had gotten the last 3 managers fired. I smiled politely and thanked her for the information. What she didn't know was that I'd already spoken with Regional Director Sandra, who had specifically mentioned Diane as a problem tenant they'd been unable to evict due to some legal technicalities. The next month, Diane started gathering signatures for a petition claiming I was neglecting the property. She'd stand in the lobby, stopping residents as they came home from work. Most signed just to get away from her, but a few came to warn me about what she was doing. I thanked them, but took no action. I could have confronted her, but something told me to wait. Meanwhile, I focused on addressing actual maintenance issues promptly, organizing community events, and building relationships with the other tenants. The emails turned hostile and scathing, accusing me of misusing scarce maintenance funds. Throughout all this, I documented everything but never engaged directly with her escalating behavior. I knew Sandra was growing tired of the constant emails, especially since the property was running more smoothly than it had in years. 6 months into my tenure, we received notice that the building needed to undergo a mandatory fire safety inspection. I sent proper notices to all residents 2 weeks in advance, as required by law. Diane immediately complained that the timing was inconvenient and demanded her unit be inspected last. I politely explained that the fire marshal set the schedule, not me. On inspection day, Diane refused to allow the fire marshal into her unit, claiming she hadn't received proper notice. When I showed her the signed receipt for her notice, she accused me of forging her signature. The fire marshal explained that refusing inspection was a violation of city ordinance, but she wouldn't budge. Rather than escalate the situation, I simply documented the refusal and scheduled a follow-up inspection for the following week, sending the notice by certified mail. The day before the rescheduled inspection, Diane sent a scathing email to Sandra, the entire corporate office, and all residents, claiming I was harassing her with unnecessary inspections as retaliation for her complaints. She demanded I be fired immediately and threatened legal action. What Diane didn't realize was that refusing a fire safety inspection was grounds for immediate lease termination under state law. When the fire marshal returned and she again refused entry, he issued an official violation notice. Corporate's legal team contacted me immediately, and within 24 hours, Diane was served with eviction papers. She tried desperately to backpedal, claiming misunderstanding and offering to allow the inspection, but it was too late. The 15-year reign of terror was legally over. At her eviction hearing, Diane brought printouts of all her complaints against me, thinking they would help her case. Instead, they painted a picture of a tenant who had been harassing management for months while violating safety regulations. The judge ruled in the property's favor, and Diane was given 30 days to vacate. Sometimes the best strategy is simply to step back and let someone self-destruct.